At this time, it's 3 or 4 minutes after the starting time at 8:30, but I'll call the Carroll County Commissioners meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda is to go into non-public. So if I hear a motion that we would go into non-public under RSA 91A3 paragraph 2E.
Yep, motion to
You
go
made the
into
motion?
non-public.
Okay.
Commissioner
Babson, you second it?
I second it.
Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Then make it unanimous. I guess that we have to have roll call?
Yep.
Commissioner Kenney?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Sorensen and Commissioner Babson?
Yes.
Okay, and so voted. All right. What was done with the commissioner's budget?
No, I just put in what you had said for the 40 cents increase.
Yeah.
So that's why it's reflected at the 92 rather than 87?
Yes,
Yep.
Okay.
And you also decreased our travel expense.
yes.
Okay. So it shouldn't be any problem.
Right.
Okay? We don't have to worry about the treasurer?
Me, David?
Yep. We decreased our travel by
Travel-
by
Travel
2,000.
was budgeted at 7, and we decreased it to 5.
Yeah, but that wasn't a change from,
No, that was the first change, the first round of changes. You didn't make any further changes on
Okay.
Friday.
Okay. All right. Treasurer, special fees and services.
You didn't make any changes?
Human resources,
You didn't make any changes?
no changes in that one? Well, we did make a change because it was originally proposed at 38% increase, which was
Well, no, that
not
was...
correct.
That was just yes.
Waterworks, Will, you can have anything?
No, sir, not with Waterworks.
Okay, attorney.
One change, well, there's two changes actually, mine, at my request, not yours. On the telephone line 068,
Say that again?
telephone 068,
Yep,
I had requested 3,900.
yep.
When we reviewed the last, our bill fluctuates anywhere between 209 to 231 a month. So it looks as though we should probably go back to what we had at last year's budget at 4270.
All right, that's where it is right now.
Yep. And the second change is on the second page under extraditions. The sheriff and I have had discussions about that. When there's any out-of-state extraditions going on, the sheriff's office transports and they send me the bill. He had an amount of money in his budget to pay for extraditions also.
Well, I think we took it out of your budget, didn't we? Extradition?
Yeah, but
Yep.
we've since requested to change that a little bit, actually split it.
Yep. Because if there's any in-state or local New England states, he can take care of that stuff. I'm usually talking about overnight travel to get somebody back. So he's given, transfer $500 from his extradition budget to mine. Leaves him with 500 and mine
So
goes up
yours
to,
was increased?
Back to 500. Yeah.
Okay.
and mine goes to 3,000.
Yours is at 3?
Yep.
Stays at 3?
Yes. That reflects the 500 from the sheriff's budget. Kathy
Yeah,
already
it's on
plugged in the
page
figures.
9.
Yeah, I got
That
page
change
9.
was done before your...
This was done before we made any adjustments?
Before- Right.
This was
Came on the
done
print.
yesterday.
Yeah.
They asked to put the 500 in. You
All right,
had
now.
2,500.
We took 500 out of your budget and put it in her budget,
Yep,
correct?
correct.
So your budget went down by 500.
No.
Well,
No.
I originally proposed mine to go to 0, from 1,000 to 0, and give the 1,000 to the county attorney. Since then, me and the county attorney have spoken, and we would keep 500 in mine.
Okay.
and put 500 in hers, I will take care of the New England only extraditions, and she would do the overnight extradition.
Okay. Okay,
That seemed to make sense, you know, for local stuff, so he doesn't have to be submitting bills and doing all this. So,
okay, you have any other
no,
changes?
that's it.
All right, you with us?
Yep.
All right, we're on victim witness.
This is interesting.
The revision in my budget has to do strictly with grant money. And I guess I'm at a little bit of a loss as to why we would cut out money that was given to us as a grant. That grant runs from July 1st to June 30th.
Yeah.
And that money gets spent. Not, when Tom Dewhurst was in office, I couldn't zero out my budget lines there because he just didn't want me to. But, for example, you've cut education and conferences to $1,000.
Yeah.
I've already spent $1,400 this year in education and
How much of
conferences.
that 1,400 is in the grant?
All of it.
All of it?
And the grant's already been approved, is the problem. I mean,
We
that's
can't-
not money we can fool around with, because it's already been applied for at those figures, those numbers. So the numbers that Melissa has submitted,
Yeah, we're talking about 1,400 this year. What about next year?
I will
How much,
spend,
in your grant, you had $1,600 earmarked for education?
yep.
Who earmarks that? They do?
When I apply for the grant,
Yeah?
you and I do. I prepare it and you sign off on it.
Okay.
So that it gets submitted, the $26,500 grant is earmarked for certain things. $20,000 of it for a portion of my salary, $1,600 for education and conferences. Travel is $3,500. And that's all grant money, that's not county money.
Okay, so you're also saying then the travel needs to be put back at 3,500.
It does. I've already spent $2,800 this year, and we have Wanda at a conference right now in Portland. There's a bunch of travel still to do. I've got a parole hearing December 12th. I'm in Concord December 13th. That money will get spent up to the $3,500.
Can any of those line items be changed?
Not right now.
Not for next year, but for the
But-
following year, it could be.
When we apply for the grant money,
Yeah.
we could, in theory, I would be a little hesitant to mess with it because we get the grant. And some of that grant money, specifically $1,500, is specifically earmarked for travel. We can't, if we don't spend it, we don't get it.
1,500.
Mhm.
So it's not 3,500 that's earmarked for travel. It's 1,500?
1,500 is specifically earmarked in the grant money for travel. We take some of that the difference between 1,500 and 3,500 is still grant money. It's all, I don't know how to
How
explain this
can
to
it
you.
be,
Here,
if it's 1,500 in the grant,
the grant
and you're
initially,
asking for 3,500,
right,
now you get 2,000, you're saying that's in the grant too?
yes. The initial grant that came across was $25,000. $20,000 of that goes towards my salary.
Mm-hmm.
$5,000 of it is allocated for travel, for education and conferences, for office equipment, for these different line items. 3 years ago, they came upon another $1,500 that they said that victim witness programs could use only if it was used for travel. So we initially just had $2,000 in travel, but in order to get that $1,500, we put it into the travel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I brought with me a copy of the grant application as it was approved.
And it's itemized?
It is itemized
Okay.
as to exactly what money goes where.
I guess we'd like to see a copy of it.
Okay.
Were there any other, what else under your grant, other than salaries, travel, and education? What other items are included in that grant?
Let me show you. 3,500 is travel, 1,600 is education, 1,000 of
Wait a minute. I guess I'm still confused over travel. you said you had 1,500 in there.
It's
That's the grant.
Yep.
Now, where do you come up with the 3,500? The other 2,000?
It's
It
already
was
in there.
increased.
I'm going to give you a copy of this. I'll
Okay.
go make a copy.
Okay, all right. Can
It's,
can you tell me what other items there are on that list?
that are grant money?
Yeah,
Okay. 20,000 is salary.
yeah,
3,500 is travel.
yeah,
1,600 is education.
yeah.
1,000 of the grant money is my phone, goes towards my phone.
Okay,
400 of grant money goes towards office supplies,
okay.
and that's it. That totals $26,500.
Okay. Yeah, please let us have a copy of that when you get time. Any other changes?
No, the only other changes were the salary, the 40 cents an hour, and everything else was the same.
Okay. We took out what you recommended and put in 40 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Any questions, Asha? Victim witness?
I think we'll go get Ann, because she should be here.
David, why don't we take a couple of others?
Well, we are going to.
Why wait for him to come up?
Keep, let Ann stay there a minute for a while, till we get through with the rest of
Okay.
Sheriff's Department. Extraditions. Where are we? Here we go.
Are we done?
It does, it,
All right, so it's 500 is
yeah,
back in
your sheet
there.
reflects that, yes.
Okay.
And
What else?
the only change.
You guys, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to get you a copy of this right now.
Okay.
The only
Go ahead.
other changes I see are on the dispatch side.
Let's stay with the Sheriff's Department first. Are you satisfied with what the Sheriff's Department's getting?
Well, I didn't notice any other changes that you've made since my last proposal.
Just the 40 cents.
Yeah, the wages.
You mean cuts? What are you talking about? If we make cuts?
Didn't-
Right, there were no other
Everything else,
cuts.
everything else stayed the same.
Yeah.
The administrative
exception.
salaries went up to 40 cents,
Yep.
and then all the other wages are also dependent upon the union contract.
Yep. Okay. All right, now dispatch center. Anybody got any questions of the Sheriff's Department? Seeing none?
Oh, wait a minute, David. You should look at it.
Go ahead.
You read like a,
If you look at what the department heads had recommended, and then you looked at and revised 2014, that's what we recommended.
you're nuts if you think I'm reading the whole sheet.
What's that?
I said, you're nuts if you think I'm reading the whole sheet. I'm reading the last two columns, though.
Well, that's
I'm
what I'm
not
looking
skimming
at.
them, I'm looking at them,
Well, that's
reading.
what I'm looking at, too.
Okay, I'm all set.
You all set? All right, dispatch?
The changes were to the electric expense,
Yep.
which those are obviously on towers. I know there is some fluctuation during the years for electrical expense on some of those towers, whether it be air conditioner kicking on or heat, and generators. So,
I guess what we did was we looked at previous years, and then we looked at what has been spent up to date, and we didn't feel that you're gonna be using the $5,325 on electrical expenses.
okay.
That's why we reduced it.
All right, I guess it's not under my control is the best I could say as far as
Okay,
what the electric's gonna cost, what we could build for. So, I'll, go with that unless we need the $500 at the end of the year. Computer expenses, I noticed, it was cut $2,000. The next line.
oh, that was something else that was reduced under victim witness too, but you didn't pick it up. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It looks like it was cut $2,000 for computer expense.
Right.
I would be against that at this point, only because we're looking to do many upgrades in dispatch. A lot of that hopefully is through grants.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, good.
Hopefully, a lot of that is through grants, but that's unknown at this point because the applications are being written at this time. So I would like to leave it at the level it was at in case we don't get the grants that we're looking for to be able to do some software upgrades.
If you get the grant, and then you're willing to reduce it back to the 2,800?
Well, I didn't say that. I mean, depending on what we
I
get
mean,
for
it goes
grants.
both ways, right?
Right, depending what we get for grants, yes. I mean, that's very possible.
Is the grant dependent upon the amount of money that's put into this particular line item?
Well, the grant is going to be written on to include consoles, software, upgrades to the towers.
Yeah.
So it's going to encompass a lot of what the whole dispatch equipment is all about.
Okay. All right, we'll take another look at that one.
David, I'm having a senior moment here. I think, why are there no uniform expenses?
Because that sheriff decided that,
There's no uniforms needed in
Oh,
the
dispatch,
communication
that's
center.
right, that's right. That's right.
And again, I should caution that is tentative on the union agreement, because right now it's in the contract. But
yeah,
Question?
yeah, go ahead.
If it's in the contract and we're paying them for their uniforms, do they have to wear them every day?
we're not providing it, it's been agreed through them that what uniforms had been given out, which was just a shirt at the time, if they choose to wear it, they can wear it, if they don't, they don't. We're not requiring it to be worn. So thus, we're not spending any money on uniforms, that's been told. It is at the discretion of the sheriff to spend that money on uniforms. A
Okay.
portion of that is also on education. So, obviously, I don't think we had a separate line for
So
education.
if the union contract, if the team has to agree that they provide uniforms, then the wording ought to be changed that they're required to wear them.
Yes.
I mean, if we're gonna be paying for them, then they're required to wear them. But if you can get it out, I think that would be
Right.
a positive move in the right direction, because nobody sees them. I mean, it may be a morale factor. I think that's why it was originally put in, but, okay. What was the other?
And the
Radio
Reduction.
communication.
radio communication expense was cut to
Okay.
$2,000. And again, I would caution against that, because that is also, that is tied into what we pay for rents for the towers and any unforeseen damages that may come into it, service agreements to replace batteries and all that. I know that there is a generator that is probably on its last legs up in Idlewise at the tower. We are proposing that in that grant, but should we not get it, then we may need it on this line.
Go ahead.
Sheriff, when I'm doing the bills, who would I see as the recipient of this money? I don't recall seeing, I think maybe one bill for one antenna, but that's it. Are they long-term contracts that don't come up every year, or, so you wouldn't see a bill?
Yeah, you have Kenny Communications, and then you have OME as far as a service contract on the Faraway Tower in Thompson
No,
Hill.
the rental, my question is, to whom are we paying rent?
The landowner?
Kenny
Kenny
is
McC-
one.
Right.
Who are the others?
Yeah. Well, the other one up here we own. And then.
Up on the hill?
Yeah.
That's our own.
Yeah.
And then Idlewise, Oak Hill, that is Bear Peak.
What is it?
Bear Peak,
is the service contract on
Well, who are we paying the money to rent it?
it. I'll have to get that answer back to you.
You
If
just
we are
sticking
in
in an
fact
extra
renting.
5 for
No, if in
fix
fact
up
we
or
are
something, or what's
renting it.
Because I've only seen one, Dawn, and that's for Kenny.
Right, right. And you may be correct on that. I'm looking at what we have, most of it is maintenance contracts
Right, I've
for
seen
those,
too.
which is that line.
and they total 31?
There is a other for dispatch maintenance as far as there's $5,000 that I have figured in out for anything related to, like this year we had to put up a antenna, which was unforeseen, and that helped alleviate some of the blind areas in Tuftonboro and Moultonboro. So that was $2,200 that cost us, that we did not project this year.
That's a one-time deal?
Right, but there are those are the type of items that may come up as these equipment is getting older on all these towers and.
Sheriff, for $2,100, what do you, is it just a stick that you stick on a water tower, or why
No,
so
it's
little?
it's an antenna that has to go, they have to go up into the tower and climb it.
On
They
an
get
existing
paid.
tower?
Right.
Oh, okay,
They actually changed out an antenna.
okay.
You know, one of our problems as a county that I see is that a lot of our budgets are looking at the possibilities of failure in equipment or whatever. And if we had a contingency fund, and we've talked about this, a contingency fund that we as commissioners could use in an emergency, a lot of these budgets probably could be reduced. Anybody want to make a comment on that?
Other than I don't believe that unless we put it in as a contingency fund in the budget, that we have to interact with the delegation.
Well, that's
like
true.
Anything else.
I understand that, yeah. But
That
over and
sort of
over
takes
again,
away- That sort of takes away the emergency.
well, what do you mean?
You know, trying to get them to come down here at the drop of a hat if we had a real catastrophe.
No, I'm saying that if they gave us a contingency to the commissioner's budget to be
Yes,
used,
that's what I'm
not a
saying.
capital reserve, but a contingency that could be put towards photocopier failure or something in the kitchen over there that is necessary to feed people, we could take it out of that fund and
Right.
use it. But that's something we would have to look at. But it looks to me that seems to be it could be a solution if people trusted us to use it appropriately. Okay, so you're looking at leaving that 31,000 in there?
That would be my request at this point. And like I said, we're working on the applications, during that application process for grant funds. If we feel that this line is different by the time we go to the delegation, then we can certainly advise you of that and change it.
Okay. But this is the budget we send to Concord.
Yeah.
Okay, other items?
The only other
Dispatch.
item I noticed that changed was the photocopier expense for dispatch was reduced by 500 to 1,000.
We reduced it by 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at past experience, you spent 1,000 into 11, and only 700 in 12. And we only spent $90 so far in 13. Are you looking at something happening between now and the end of the year? I don't want to put you on the spot, and I'm not trying to interrogate you at all. I'm just trying to ask a question, get a reasonable.
No, not that I know of.
Can you live with 1,000?
I'll have to look at what contract that was under. Because, as you know, one of the contracts, the company went out of business, so we're gonna have to,
With photocopier?
yes, because we had two. We had Porter's and we had the place in Tuftonboro.
Pope? Oh.
That went out of business. And now Porter's is getting us through the rest of the contract service for that.
When is that contract due?
I
Do you know?
believe it's the beginning of the year, I think.
We need to take a look at the photocopier contracts and see if we can't put them all under one, with the exception of registry of deeds. If we could put it all under, I don't know of any other than Porter. Is there another?
We use Porter.
We use Twin Rivers.
What's that?
We use Twin Rivers.
Yeah, I know, you're different.
No, but I'm saying they're a good company.
Could that be under Porter also?
No, it's a copier.
Could it be under Porter's contract?
No, it's a different company.
I know, but
We
could it
purchased
be?
ours.
If we combine all these contracts into
Is it a
one?
regular copier that we could get from Porter and put it on there and combine it with the rest of them in?
I have-
Or is it a special one that you have to
I
make
tell you,
large
we get
prints?
such excellent service. We can't afford for us to be down at all, but they've also saved us money not needing a fax machine because they've installed it. It comes right straight through our copier. So when we're sending out copies to people who call in and order them, it's bing, bing, bing on one machine.
Does anybody else have any problem with Porter? I mean, when it goes down, do we get it fixed right
Usually,
away?
they're usually in, from my experience, it's.
I mean, they should.
typically
We've got a
same
lot of
day.
money invested in Porter for our contracts. Okay. So we're gonna leave that 1,000, right?
Or I guess not knowing what that is, I can, if we split.
And the dispatch center, the travel, that is for sending them for further education? It's the only thing that I could think
Yes,
of.
that would be it, or, because all the dispatches have to be certified in spots down in Concord. And right now, we have one part-timer that's gonna be going in December.
Do we have an extra patrol car?
We have yes, we have
Could they use
a
that?
spare car. They're not supposed to have blue lights, but it's possible. Whether we send one of the unmarked, or, I know when we sent the extra car over to the jail, there was communication to be able to use that at different times for that purposes.
Yeah.
Send them in a Humvee.
Humvee? Yeah.
I don't think you want to pay that fuel bill.
4 miles a gallon.
I think you ought to look at that.
Well, I suggested the county keep the car as a, for all the agencies to use that for that purpose. But
Don't we have a couple of RICO vehicles out there? Or not? We don't have any RICO vehicles that we possessed on that drug?
Rico?
no.
No, that truck went to the jail, that red truck.
Jail or the farm?
The jail's got it.
Yeah, jail got it.
That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah. Do we still have a vehicle, or is that the one that we sold? Is there still a sheriff's vehicle out there that's not being used?
No, the jail has one, we sold one,
Yeah.
and we have a spare fully marked cruiser. That's,
So you do have a spare out there, but it's
Fully
marked.
yeah. And I think you'd be getting into liability issues if it's non-police personnel using that vehicle.
Really?
If something happens in front of them, people are gonna expect that cruiser to stop.
I see. And if they don't, we're in a problem. Okay? Anything else?
Next page on the dispatch center?
Yep.
I don't notice any changes.
They're on.
Yeah.
But I have a real question with your new equipment. You testified to us that you thought you could pay for 50% of it with grants, or I've got it written down here somewhere.
Well, I mean, it's obviously an unknown amount, but there are two different avenues we're going after. One is the Homeland Grant Fund through the state and federal. That would be paid at 100% of whatever they give you. The New Hampshire Emergency Fund grant would be a 50-50 deal. That fund is easy to apply for. The Homeland Grant is very complicated and intense as far as applying. We have until December 13th to get that completed, and we're working on that, so.
To get the application in by December 13th. Go ahead.
Well, my problem is, Tom, if we put this in the budget and this budget passes and then you don't get the grant, you still have the right to go out and buy $325,000 worth of radio equipment because it's in the budget and it's been appropriated. How do we work it out so that if you don't get the grant, you don't get the radios?
Not sure.
You mean it go the other way around? If he gets the grant, we take the 325 out of the budget.
Right, I mean, we're showing that as revenue of some type. I showed it in two different ways, the two different grants, and there also may be money through Ossipee Valley Mutual Agreement.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you show it on the revenue side, but if you don't get it, you still have $325,000 here appropriated that you can spend from whatever.
I tell you what, why don't we put that in a capital improvement?
That's,
And then the delegation, if you get the grant, the delegation can
Approve the
not
grant.
use it. Why don't we take it out of your budget and put it in capital improvement?
that's fine as long as I have some amount in new equipment.
Well,
I
you're
would
saying
say-
there's more in there than,
No, because again, some of this is, I think, what we need to start at. Because if we don't, you're saying if we don't get any of that, then there's not gonna be any capital improvement. There is some things that I would like to get, no matter what.
yeah, no, what I'm saying is if we put that 325,000 in capital improvement, the delegation then can use part of it or not use any of it. If you get the grant, they probably won't want to use any of it. If you don't get the grant, they may say, it's important that you do that, and they would approve it.
I see what you're saying. I've sat in on a few delegation meetings. They removed $10,000 for our impound lot on a swipe of a pencil. I would rather put it in our hands.
You still got to fight for it either way.
Hey, wait a
Right,
minute.
but I mean, I'm talking $25,000 instead of
Instead of
$325,000.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
In our control, possibly.
Go ahead.
Did you just spill the beans? You got $20,000 in here for an impound lot on a new?
No,
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 no, no, no, no, no, he didn't say that. What he
He
said
said
Something
was,
like it.
No. I
Just wanted to clear it up.
we know who's
Usually we don't
opposed,
get-
we know who's opposed to it, right?
Yes, we do.
But,
We should have.
what you're saying is in case there's other things that you're gonna need,
Yeah.
you need some money in that line
Yes,
item.
yes.
Not the 325, but
Right.
25.
The $300,000 is solely for large-scale improvements to dispatch,
Yeah,
to include,
yes. Either way, if you have it in your budget, you gotta fight for it.
Yep.
If you have it in capital improvement, you gotta fight for it. But the advantage you put it in capital improvement is that if you get the grant, then the delegation doesn't have to spend it.
Right.
I guess my question though would be, do you have to have it in your budget in order to get the grant? You have to have matching money or not?
well, again, depending on what grant, one of them is a 50/50. I would imagine.
But if it's in capital-
You ultimately sign off on it, on that grant,
Yeah,
just like a radar grant.
Well, what's our 50 doing?
we'd have to take it out of capital improvement. if
No,
that's
but
where
how
it
much
goes.
is it?
That
You said
depends
you've
on
got
what-
two
that-
grants and one's 50/50.
No, that
What's our
depends
50?
on, we're not gonna get both grants.
Oh, you're not? Oh, I thought you
I
were saying
mean,
you're gonna get them
if
both.
we get the Homeland grant, that's gonna be for I would assume, a pretty good amount of money.
Okay.
New Hampshire Emergency is probably gonna say, no, you've got that, you can't double dip. Maybe the following year we can go to them for something else. We're certainly applying for both, and then it'll depend on
Mhm.
who
As
gets
a
that.
finance director,
I think it should.
what are you saying?
I think it should go to the capital expenditures section, the 300,000, we would put, for the sheriff dispatch. And then it takes it out of his operating budget, so that kind of gives a clearer picture for the
Yeah.
for the future, when people are looking, well, geez, look at that year, they were that much more.
Yeah.
It's a clear picture. And these are capital items
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so it should go under the capital expenditure.
All right, do we agree, board, that we put a 300 into capital expenditure?
Yes.
And leave 25 in there?
Yep.
And I have a question,
Go ahead.
Sheriff. The grant, was it 300,000? I think I missed that. Did you say the grant is going to be 300,000?
The grant is gonna be open-ended, to be honest with you, unless we have to give a figure. At this point, it's open-ended. We're gonna list on what we're looking to do. Right off the bat, 200,000 of that is solely for 4 consoles and dispatch, because the consoles have become obsolete, as all sheriff's departments have found out. And then it's upgrades from that, as far as towers, splitting frequencies to a north-south band. So it's a lot of upgrades.
Okay. Anything else in dispatch?
Nope.
Any other questions?
No?
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's, should be the right way to go. And you were next, so let's take you. I know we got 2 others. Page 11 of the budget. Salaries were reduced to the 40 cents that we had voted on. You had put extra money in there.
Right. In the travel budget.
Travel budget, yeah, we reduced it by
Yeah.
500. Is there a particular reason you got 2,500 in there? You're gonna send everybody out?
We've had it in, the point being, because I took over doing the mail, picking it up and taking it,
Yeah,
I only put in for mileage one way.
yeah,
I don't charge for the morning. I pick up the business office and my mail
yeah.
and take it at the end of the day. Because I'm doing it and not a staff member who was being paid, that's cut it down. I did not go and stay overnight at the conference and eat their food. So this year I've spent very little money out of that.
Yeah.
But would it be someone else that takes over my position? They can do whatever they want. If they want to assign it to 2 staff members, I don't charge when I go to
But
the
you're in
bank
here
every
through
week.
next year, so.
I have
that
another
would
year.
affect
Yeah, for this
the
year,
following
you're
year's
okay.
budget.
So I had no objection to that.
You have no objection to that?
No.
Okay,
Question?
go ahead.
And why you go to the post office? Why doesn't the post office deliver the mail there?
Because we wouldn't get our mail until the afternoon. I go to the post office so that we have a lot of things that come in by mail to be recorded in a timely fashion. I go to the mail, sometimes I have to go back twice because the mail hasn't been sorted. It is our intent in the morning to get as much of that on record as we can, hopefully all of it, because we get busier as the day goes on with people coming in and out with closing. So we make every effort. So if we were to do it here, I don't know that any of us get the mail here. Do you, Jason?
Yeah, we go down to the post office. and
You go to the post office, as I do, and will you get your mail, because it comes through the business
Exactly.
office, and
I don't know mine.
HR has a lot of their mail that I pick up that's in the business offices, things, so it's not like,
Where do you have to go? Right here in Ossipee?
yeah, I do it on my way into work,
Okay.
so I figure I'm just making a little slight detour, and,
Yeah.
so I don't pass
Okay.
it on to the county.
So you can live with that. Any other problems with your,
Yeah,
what you see?
I do have a problem with the salary, and I'm gonna,
With the salary?
Yeah,
For
I
your,
do.
for your,
that,
People at
you're
work.
doing 40 cents across the board, yeah, I do object to that. I've done everything I can in my power to keep my expenses as low. I am a cheap date, there's no
Mhm.
two ways about it, my staff will tell you, I watch every single thing. Our budget went up this year because we are now having to buy shelving and book covers. We did a project that lasted us
Mhm.
6+ years, in which we saved substantial amounts each year, just on that alone, which I had in my overview of the budget, my explanation of my line items. Because this year now, I'm back to the tune of $6,300 for book covers and $4,489 for shelving. So there's a difference of over $10,000 right there. So if my budget looks like it went up, there are reasons for it. I also had filled the 6th position in my office and had to let somebody go. Well, they actually quit, and that worked out just fine. So on my salary line item,
Mhm.
I did not spend $22,500 of that salary, nor did $15,280 get spent out of the medical insurance, because I had allowed for a married person to be employed. So there was a total savings in my budget this year of $37,814. Some of that was off the, I'm going to be not rude, but we had a very rough summer, and sometimes we worked with 3 employees and 4, but it meant we all worked much harder than we needed, than we should be. But we filled in the gaps rather than go through the trauma of trying to train another person. I've got it back in for next year's budget, and we'll hopefully hire them early in the year and give them time when we're at our slowest point to get them trained.
Mhm.
It's not an off-the-street job. You have to have a legal mind, you have to there's just so much.
What's the starting wage in your department?
We put it in, I think, at $12.50,
$12.50.
yeah. And that's in my budget this year.
How many people do you have at that level?
Right now,
Nobody.
oh, nobody. My employees range from 13 years to 18 years. There's nobody in my employment in the register.
Even the starting one that you hired this past year?
Oh, no, we started them at $12.50.
At what?
At $12.50.
At $12.50.
No, my other staff's been there,
Yeah, yeah.
Many
And after
years.
6 months, they get a raise?
no,
No.
sorry. No.
So
They
that
have a
person is
3 month
still
of probation.
at the end of probation, they don't get a increase?
No. They're eligible for the medical insurance at that point, but no, I don't give them another raise.
Okay.
Our raises are only annually. And so the big difference between your budget and my budget came down to, where are we?
A little less than $4,000.
6,400, whatever. And then when you take out the difference, because some of these figures change when you cut the amount of the raise.
Yep,
It affects retirement, Medicare.
all the benefits. Yep.
And Social Security. And so basically, the difference between your salary and my salary was $5,408.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know, you haven't done your labor negotiations with your unions,
Right.
and you're telling everybody else they're only going to get 40 cents, so I think it's kind of,
We've also said in the past that whatever the union gets, the non-union gets also. There'd have to be an adjustment made. The delegation is going to have to approve the union contract. And if they approve the union contracts, then we're going to ask for equal amount for the non-union
But there is nothing anywhere in our system that provides for any kind of merit
That's all right.
increases. And I felt my staff had really earned it by saving you the $37,814 this year, plus the amounts that we've saved in the past years. So that was,
You're becoming more efficient, right?
yes. But I'm also pretty adamant about how I feel about that.
I could say that at other departments too, that they're becoming more efficient and saving money,
I think we are. I think we
Yeah.
do our very best
which is the
for
goal that
all
we
of the
want to go
people we
for, is
represent.
to make the county more efficient. Yep.
And I just think that at some point, your morale of your staff is also important.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, yep. Okay, any other changes?
No.
No, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions about any other items on here? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, medical referee, administration building,
Yeah, Jerry had no questions.
what's that?
Jerry
No-
was-
No problem?
No.
Human Services Department, I got a lot of questions on that one. Up 200,000 with no control.
Are we
Maintenance.
doing- Are we doing the commissioners too?
What's that?
The commissioners, we didn't do that.
Yeah, we did, you were out.
Oh, then I just want to make a comment to add some money for the safe. We need to
For
put
the
in some
safe?
money for
For
the safe.
equipment? What kind of money are you talking about?
$5,000.
5,000?
For what?
We need
For
to
safe?
save. And my
The
second.
equipment, let me follow up on that. I'm not sure if you know when that, we're changing over at the nursing home, documents that are in a fireproof, locked cabinet, file, whatever you want to call it. I'm wondering if that is possible, if we could use one of those over here for the clerk. You may not know the answer to that, but,
I would
go
think
look
that
at
would
it.
be a very feasible
okay.
solution.
There is that one in your office. There is that one safe that's up against the wall between your two desks.
Yeah.
It's
Got
a
a
heavy-
combination, got a combination on it.
No.
No, it has it's a
Key?
key.
Yeah.
It's a
Someone have the
heavy,
key?
heavy safe that has old documents
It's
in it.
old stuff that's in it, we could take that out. All right, let's look at that, instead of holding this up, go ahead.
We need the new
Um,
safe.
You got another, I'm sorry, she had
No, I
another,
think we need the new safe.
okay. And what was your other?
I have a second. Are we going to put in some funds for the electronic filing? Because we talk about it, we're going over to electronic filing, so I wonder if we're going to put it in and where?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, because I think what happened was at the nursing home, their upgrade to their system, their server, their computer system does that now, because that was the big piece, having
Mhm.
the electronic for medical records.
That's right.
That was the big piece of that whole project. And with them getting it within their equipment,
Mhm.
we didn't think the need was there
Okay,
to do that.
But
okay.
that is for the nursing home only, I'm talking
Right,
about.
and the sheriff's department has their system in place
Mhm.
for that, so
Okay,
to
so
do,
you're talking about what
For the
records?
for the county, that we go over electronic filing.
we can get a price for it if you'd like, for just
Didn't we
the
already
county.
have?
Well, no, we had it for the entire county,
Mhm.
the price, but if you're minimizing to just like perhaps our department or, like I said, the sheriff's department has a system, the
Nursing home
nursing
has
home
it.
has their system. I don't know about the jail. So if you want us to get a price for just those couple, in the registry of deeds, she has her system
Hmm.
already in place. We can do that.
I think we need to look at it. Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Bucco graciously accepted my invitation to put a bill in that would make the clerk responsible for composing or keeping the minutes, and that electronic filing would replace or could replace the safe. So if they go to electronic storage, won't need a safe. If they agree
The
with
question,
that.
though, that Commissioner Kenney is raising is, do we put money in for electronic equipment or the process to
Well, how
go?
are we paying Barracuda now? They're storing it. You people signed a contract 2 or 3 years with them.
I don't know.
That's the server stuff. I think Commissioner Kenny's referring to every document gets scanned and put into an electronic file.
That was my impression of what Barracuda would do.
I think
You could scan it
Barracuda-
and then make a file and put it up in the cloud.
It was DocStar.
That was DocStar, but
Barracuda,
Who came in?
we have our.
they're a backup.
Right, in a cloud now for our,
For nursing home.
for our systems here.
Mhm.
Our servers that we have, they're backed up. But all of the documents that perhaps Commissioner Kenney is referring to is anything that's created, letters, all of that would have to be scanned.
Well,
My personal opinion is they don't make a safe big enough to put all the paperwork in.
no, that's going to be a
Well, at
problem.
least we need something to put in non-public minutes and maybe other contracts or certain documentation, what we get from the attorney.
I can get a
Certain
price.
confidential or attorney-client privilege information.
Okay. Let's go to maintenance. Will?
Everything I saw in there looks good of what we, same as what we talked about on Friday. The only comment that I would ask, I guess question I would ask, is Kathy, Gary, and I talked about some stuff yesterday, and I would like to request a few minutes of a non-public meeting to talk to the commissioners about a couple of things. But other than that, everything is fine. There would be no changes to anything.
Okay.
What you were talking about in press, is it security?
It's about
Because-
employees, I guess.
We don't have to get into it.
Okay.
You want to have it, we'll have it after.
Just a couple of minutes whenever you get time.
Okay. Sewer system?
That's all the same.
Jail?
The only question I had, Commissioners, I saw that the care of grounds was reduced from 7944 down to 3144. Looking at historical records,
Excuse me, Jason, I didn't hear you. What?
under the care of grounds line,
We
the,
can tell you
Okay.
what happened
Okay.
is, the revenue side of it to maintenance is will no longer be doing that journal entry.
okay,
So that's why it was reduced out of yours.
okay.
The expenditure is no longer there.
Okay, do you want to apply the same to the maintenance labor, the 083? This is something Will and I had talked about earlier, in the last couple of months last month, about doing the trash again. And that's why I threw the $3,000 in that.
We didn't change that. We didn't take it out.
You said 43, Will?
It's,
I don't have a 43.
83.
80. So under 080, the Carrot Rounds, what
Yep.
was presented was $7,944.
Yep.
It was reduced down to $3,144.
I think a part of that is the waste removal, garbage, dumpster. We need to keep that in, but other than that, the plowing, the mowing of lawns and so forth goes into a separate maintenance department that we're establishing.
Okay.
And so that's an expense. There's no revenue that's going to be generated as a result of that. It's just going to be, maintenance is an expense. Okay. You got go ahead.
I just didn't have a chance to really talk to Jason too much about this, but it's also going to encounter your salt and sand that normally comes out of that line item.
Mhm.
I've now created a salt and sand budget, so I'll just come and salt and sand you, and you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Pushing back with the backhoe, plowing, those things that normally came out of that, that's what Kathy took out, because we've added those expenses into a maintenance budget, so it doesn't affect you, and that's why you have the reduction of that.
Okay. So in keeping with that, are we doing the same with the trash removal too? Or are we gonna leave that as an expense to me and a revenue to the farm?
As a expense to the department, not under maintenance. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we did.
But we're talking about two different trash issues, just to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay.
He pays a dumpster fee, and then he's also talking about me going back to the way system we used to, where I take the trash over the dumpster for him. In the last year and a half, 2 years, we got away from that. And he's talking about going back, and that's what he had the money there for. And he also has money to pay for his dumpster fee.
So are you saying that you do for him would show up as revenue in the maintenance budget?
It would. I didn't put it in mine because the last 2 years, we got away from that system. But then we were going back and forth about bringing that system back. So I didn't put it in there. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we're not gonna generate any revenue in maintenance. I think that's,
Right, so
That's a
I mean,
given.
that doing the trash you could just take that money out then, and I could still just do his trash.
how much of that can we take out?
He
Well,
budgeted.
I budgeted 3,000 because that's what we've historically paid. And that's under 083, that's under maintenance labor.
And that is for what, Jason?
That was for the maintenance crews to take the trash from the facility up to the dumpster.
Okay. Nothing else was in there other than the 3,000.
Correct. Yep.
So basically, we could take that $3,000
I
out.
want to scratch that.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else? So let's go back to Care Grounds. What is in that $3,144?
That would be my, the dumpster fees.
Yeah?
Because the original that I proposed is the dumpster fees, the plowing, sanding, that stuff. I think I earmarked like $4,500 for plowing and sanding, and then the balance was dumpster fees.
Right, and you had gravel on your apron there that we've done in the past, that was all in that item.
Right.
So
So
that
is
should
there
be-
any more that could be taken out of his budget? Because we are, did you say we're picking up the sanding or not?
Right,
And salt?
right, Kathy already took that out of his.
Yeah, we
You already
already
took that out?
yeah.
What's left is his dumpster, that he pays the waste management, I believe.
Mhm.
But all his gravel, salt, sand, I've absorbed that into the maintenance budget.
Okay.
We're spending roughly around $280, $290 a month on dumpster fees from my budget.
Okay. So we leave that there. Okay. What else you got? Anything else?
That was it. That was it.
Why did the insurance rate go up? From 16, we haven't even, well, I guess we will. 16,000 up to 20
And you're looking,
under the jail budget? Insurance.
right, I put in 20, anticipating it going up.
Anything, you base that on anything?
Well, just because of, they had said because of our, wages have gone up, our
Yeah.
liabilities have gone up, we have more vehicles, they've gone up, and our building values have gone up. Because it's not just, it's replacement of the buildings.
Yeah.
Those values have gone up, so they're
Okay.
causing our insurances to go up. Just like at home, your homeowners,
Yep.
replacement value. It's not what it costs to build the building, but it's the cost to replace it.
Okay. Anything else, Jason?
No questions?
Okay. Thank you very much. Now the farm.
everything.
Jason, before you leave, it deals with the farm. Can we, I don't know if Commissioner Babson is putting this all together or how he's involved in it, but between the farm, the jail, and the nursing home, if we can produce more food, our problem is processing it, getting the necessary equipment to process it, to freeze whatever we grow, or whatever. Help me out. Are you meeting with them to try to do something like that? No?
We've just talked about it in general.
We've talked about it, but how do you three people feel about it that you're here in the same room?
We're going to, Will and I've talked to Rob, we're gonna schedule a meeting where we can sit down and discuss and put
Okay.
a plan together.
Please include me.
Okay.
It's kind of been the plan so far. It's the three of us. We're going to sit down and try to come up with a plan.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
When you do that, guys, I think the important thing would be some information on what you could do now with the equipment that we have. We got a freezer.
especially in the jail.
We can't flash freeze it, but we can freeze it, keep it frozen. Can you slice, can you dice, whatever you can do to, I think that'd be a good place to start with, figuring out what we need for equipment and what we already have.
Have we got a lot of stuff in the old nursing home freezer?
No.
Nothing?
I believe that's off right now. We got stuff in the refrigerator. We got the squash that I grew this year.
Refrigerator, where's that?
They had originally when they moved out of there, they had 2 refrigerators and a freezer.
Okay,
A walk-in refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
And a walk-in freezer.
Yep.
We have the squash, which Rob's been using on a weekly basis, from my understanding, that we had stored in there, the winter squash. But we don't have any, as far as I know, I haven't produced anything to give to Rob in the freezer, so I'm assuming Rob doesn't have anything, but that'd be a question for him. But I haven't produced anything that's gone in the
okay.
freezer.
Anyway, see if we can work something out in those areas. Be a good project for next year. Thank you, Jason. Okay, let's go look at the farm.
Besides the revisions we talked about on Friday,
Mhm.
I don't have,
So we reduce the overtime,
yes.
reduce salaries because they got shifted.
Yes. We reduced,
Gasoline went down? Because
Yes.
gasoline, some of it went in the maintenance budget.
the total amount that we've normally budget for, if you looked at what was under the department head value there, you looked at $15,600. I just moved 75% of the gas to the maintenance budget, and I moved 25% of the diesel to the maintenance budget.
Okay, Yep,
And I left the opposites in the farm,
okay.
because that's, we use more diesel at the farm than we do in the maintenance.
And the purchase has to do with the wood processor?
Yes, that's our annual purchase payment.
Nothing else, right?
No, we had a reduction in new equipment. Upon your guys' request asking about the price to have chainsaws sharpened, as it sits
Yep.
right now, I can get them sharpened, I think he said $6 a chain, and it didn't really make sense, financial sense, so I thought I'd try it for this year, see how that goes. If that tends to be wrong or something, next year I might have to ask for it, but at this point, it seems like it makes more sense to just have it
And the
done.
3,000's for the rake?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Seeing none? Thank you, Will. And we, we'll have to call you, I guess. We don't have anything at 2 o'clock. We're going to the nursing home budget, so
I can just come back in a little bit.
okay, let's do that. Let's do that.
Why is Will coming back?
Well, as soon as we get through with nursing home.
Yeah, but why?
Why?
Why is he coming back?
Non-public.
He wants non-public, he wants a non-public meeting,
Oh, okay,
personnel.
okay.
Okay, long-term debt. Regional appropriations. I guess we'd like to have, okay, we got, I received a request
Must have been.
from Jack Rose. He wants to put $2,000 into the Blue Loon Transit. What is the privilege of the board? Do we want to put it in?
No.
We didn't put it in before. He's requested it.
And where's it gonna go? I don't see their buses out very much anymore.
Well, you read it. It's going to go to the dial-a-ride, not necessarily that bus that comes here, but it's for individuals, I believe, that call in and want transportation from their house. You said there was an increase from V&A?
Yeah, they went
Oh, I
from
see.
70,000 to 75.
5,000. What's your privilege on that? They were at 70,000 for a number of years. The other agencies were at their same amount for a number of years. V&A and hospice, isn't that the unit that combined different groups?
Yeah, it was health and home care.
Health and home care and, yeah,
And Northern,
right.
they combined to the one.
Anybody got any comments?
Only that they do really good work.
Want to leave it there?
I'd like to leave it at 75.
Okay. Asha, do you have any comments regarding the bus? Carroll County Transit? In the past, we have not supported it.
Is this the second time that we have a request?
Second time, well, no, I think it's,
Oh, we had some, okay.
the first year they didn't use it. I forget whether it was 1,000 that was put in. They never
Yeah,
asked
we've
for it.
never, yeah.
All right, we'll wait for your comment on that then, Asha. Capital reserves,
Well, actually, the money what he requested is for educating, advertising, and promotion of the bus service.
you want to put it in or not?
No.
Okay. Would you write a letter to Jack Rose and say that we are not, if he wants it, he needs to go to the delegation?
Okay, thank you.
County convention, pretty much stays the same. I thought there was something in the county convention that was going to increase. Am I wrong?
Is the gas mileage, and this is for the paid delegation, right?
Yep.
They only use $3,500 worth of mileage for
It looks
all
like,
of them to come here?
I guess that's it.
Wow, I would have guessed it was more than that.
Well, they get mileage, plus they get $25 a meeting, right?
Yeah, the meeting.
But that would be on the, I would think on the salaries.
No, meeting expense.
Okay, down below, meeting expense, 3,000.
Okay, yep.
And the mileage is in a travel expense.
Mileage is under travel, okay.
So do we need nothing happening to this?
So if they meet 10 times, they're gonna spend $3,750. They're supposed to meet once a quarter, so that's 4 times. Maybe they don't meet 10 times. Don't we have to pay the
Did we,
subsidies though, too?
did we check
No.
with the chairman about
No.
that budget?
They, we can forward it to her, but it's when they go in, when they meet, this is what you're proposing. It's not what they're proposing. When they meet, they will review their budget when the delegation meets. Subcommittees do not get meeting fees. They only get mileage.
Okay.
If they put in for it, because it's not a delegation, full
Okay.
delegation meeting.
And why did we take the $20,000 out of the performance audit?
Because we're gonna,
This year's budget.
Is it
we're gonna carry that over.
carry over?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the annex, we're budgeting 15,000, almost 16,000. No, I'm sorry. We're down to 24,000,
Yep.
from 30 to 24. And the major is care grounds.
Mhm.
Okay,
And under the capital expenditures,
yep,
I will put the 300,000. I'll take it out of the dispatch.
20,000.
Take it out of dispatch and put it in.
Oh, right, yep,
Fuel for the old nursing home.
yep,
Are we heating that with propane or?
yes.
I know we didn't hook up the.
The hot water isn't, but the rest of the building is on pellets.
You sure of that? Is that an apportioned figure or did
Pretty
that come
sure.
from Murray?
Well, I can give you what the year-to-date's been spent there.
Okay.
But the question is, where does that come from?
Right, I will see if it's propane, a propane bill or
What concerns me is it was only $188 the year before, and that was for a full year.
because we were charging it all just to the nursing home, the bill.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're waiting to see what the school is.
Now, I believe, and Bob Murray would have to answer the question, I guess, that next year we're gonna tear down 2 of the wings. So that should reduce the heat, the fuel.
Right, it's the.
Should reduce maintenance and repair probably too, but we don't know that.
It's it's propane that heats the annex.
It is
It's not
propane.
metered.
Right,
It is metered.
no,
So who
It's an
figures out the
allocation.
apportionment?
it's an allocation of, I don't believe, I'll have to ask about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure how it's, if there's a meter on there or not.
I don't know either.
My recollection was, then we had this discussion last week, the meters were on the new nursing home and this building. They weren't on the old nursing home and the jail.
I did check, and it is on the new nursing home. I did check.
Say it again?
There is a meter on the new nursing home.
Yeah.
I checked that.
But not the old nursing home.
I didn't check that.
I think there's a meter there, but I'm not sure if it's water or if it's propane. Anyway. Okay. Nursing home.
Paula sends her regrets at not being here, but
Yep.
she's in the middle of training with Becky on a webinar. Of all the changes that you proposed, there's only one that raised attention, and that was education and conference. Largely because with the new computer system, we're anticipating expanded, and it's not an increase, it's to match previous years.
Yeah.
Increased training for the computer part, also increased at least 2 staff members to be sent out possibly for additional training. And also, we started talking about a new RN program, or LPN RN program to bring.
But that's under a different budget,
No, that would actually be under education and conference.
and not under nursing?
It's
Under nursing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, under education conference, under
No,
nursing, there were
no,
2
we-
items there.
We're looking at administration right now.
Oh, okay, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
when we get there.
Okay,
I know what you're
Well, that
saying.
explains why there's, I was looking for the reduction, but there isn't it.
No. So the administration is no problem?
No, there was.
All right, dietary?
You made a change to reduce uniform, and Rob can live with that. He can live with that.
Uniform.
Yeah,
Where's
I just have a question about salary administration. That is your salary in the nursing home?
That's
the
for-
nurse director? Who's
That's
it
for
is?
all administrative staff, including mine certainly, but it also includes non-nursing administration, Becky, Elaine, office, MDS coordinator, Paula. Also includes, and I think it might include infection control as well. I'm not sure that comes under nursing. So there's quite a group of people, and also the purchasing, Norma now is included under that as well.
Okay, dietary.
The change there was to 052 uniform.
Did he say anything about education and conferences?
Well, we did talk about that.
He hasn't spent, he's only, at 211, he spent 1,600, but the other 2 years is quite a ways down. I guess you were talking about books, right? For that,
Serve safe.
yeah. Okay, all right. Uniform expenses, we dropped at 367. All right. Any questions on dietary?
Nope.
All right. Nursing department?
There were 2 changes there.
What's that?
You made 2 changes there.
Okay.
The first on the education conference.
Yeah, Becky spoke to me this morning about it. They're gonna be short RNs by the end of next year, I believe, she said. And what she'd like to do is to send them to school, those that have the potential to become an RN, and therefore, they need the education component of the budget. Any idea what that would cost?
Well, 2 people, 2 people are $3,000 or $4,000 apiece, plus add in the specialized computer training, and we're at that $10,000.
Yeah, and they guaranteed to work for us for
3 years.
3 years, okay.
And we've also started to talk about a program that would help reintroduce to the workforce semi-retired nurses who might be sitting on the sidelines now, but
Mhm.
might need some extra training and support to feel comfortable getting reintroduced.
Mhm.
And that'd be a lot less expensive, but it would involve some extra funds.
Go ahead.
How is a 3-year commitment? Is that from $1 or if they get a degree?
They actually have to satisfy they have to get a passing grade and get the degree. And if they don't, they're obligated for repayment there. They're actually signing a promissory note that's forgiven upon the end of the 3 years.
Right, I understand that, but it's from, my question is it from the first day they take a class, or is it from when they complete
When
the
they
degree?
when they graduate.
It's been done both ways, so there's good reason for confusion. There's been one way with some LNA courses and some other training where people staff would have to maintain a B average, and then they would be reimbursed at the end. There's also been a reimbursement-based, where people front the money, and upon completion, we pay them, and then they have the obligation for the 3 years. That's what we would prefer. Because it makes more of a commitment on the part of the person doing it if they have to pay for the cost of the course, but get reimbursed upon satisfactory completion.
I think we need to add that 10,000 back in again. I'd rather see it put towards education and get RNs rather than increase the agency staff involvement.
Yeah, that's my note.
That's your notes?
Yep.
All right, so we put that back 20,000. Medical supplies and service, we reduced that by 10.
That will probably be okay. What we don't know is if on the one hand, we have the relative good fortune of having a case mix that has more Medicare than not, our medical supplies for Medicare residents go up, but so do our income. So it could be tight, but it's reasonable at the very least.
Okay. The next item we cut was supplies, 9,000.
9,000? Are you on the plan?
199 under supplies under nursing department,
Oh, you cut that by 10,000.
9,000. It was put in at 199.
199, take away 190.
Okay.
We reduced it 9,000, Howard.
Okay, no, that is right. Well, and that's, here again, it cuts the contingency, but it should be survivable.
Okay. Then there's no other changes in the nursing department?
No, that would be it for nursing.
We basically reduced it by 9,000. Plant operations? Supplies, we reduced by 2,000.
And Bob thinks that's likely to be likely to be okay. He's more concerned about the unknown of vehicle expense.
Vehicle expense.
Down below.
That was cut by $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's, in a good year, should be perfectly fine.
But that's bus, van, and truck.
Correct, that's all three, everything has been consolidated.
We took it out of recreation.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that actually helps, so rather than having two contingencies for vehicles, we have one, and that should generate some efficiencies. Here again, it's not guaranteed because we don't know when a transmission's going to blow.
Yeah.
So, but it's.
Who's responsible for the bus?
The bus is now part of plan. It'd be
Bob's.
Bob.
All right, so if recreation wants to use it, they go through Bob?
They don't need to. Recreation actually schedules and controls both the bus and the van.
Oh, okay.
But Bob takes care of its maintenance.
Okay. Care of grounds, we reduced it down to 25 because we put all of that snow plowing and lawn mowing under the maintenance budget.
Correct.
Howie, I have a question about the bus and the van. Are they both new? Is the bus a new bus?
The bus is the newest of the vehicle. I don't have the schedule with me. I'm guessing it's.
The van was secondhand, wasn't it?
It's, because I think that's like almost 10 years old, which is getting close to its useful life. I think the bus is about half that at about 5 years old. But I don't know the origin of the van, but the van.
I don't think it's that old, but
10 years, okay. And we have only two? We have only one bus and one van, correct?
and a truck.
And a truck.
Maintenance truck to carry lawn.
Which
Oh,
is-
yeah. we
During
have
good
it.
weather, we can
For-
roll it across the
for,
street. During bad weather, we can't. Laundry.
Now, that one clearly, I think, was a used vehicle, because I can still
Yes,
see the,
that
I
was.
can still see the markings from its previous owner.
All right, laundry, no change. Correct?
Correct.
What number is that, Dave?
Laundry?
Yeah.
Page 42.
Plan operations, how did I? Oh, you mean the whole page. I was looking for
Yeah.
laundry on that
Oh.
page.
Housekeeping?
Housekeeping, you have a $500 decrease in 031 floor supplies. That should be survivable.
Okay.
How would you know we got a bill from our linen company?
Well,
We didn't pay it.
no, and they'll be coming in again on Monday, both guys, to do yet another inventory. And since that time, I've also met with another provider, so that we're having a basis of comparison price-wise.
Okay.
I hope that you're working on another provider for doctors' visits.
Becky and I make a visit next Tuesday morning.
All right, physicians and pharmacy, guess there's no change there. Physical therapy department,
No change.
no change. Recreational therapy department,
No change.
no change from what was proposed.
Correct.
Okay. Social service department,
A $500 reduction to 070 travel.
travel. Any problem there?
No, that we can live with.
Special service department,
No change.
um, oh, something doesn't add up here. If there's no change, oh, I'm looking at the total. So basically, the nursing home is up by less than 100,000.
Which is remarkable in an era where healthcare has gone up just over 4% nationwide. I'm hoping, and the reason I feel very comfortable in essentially coming to you with a level funded budget is because we're going to be looking for cost savings. Last month, we're also looking for outside donations. Last month, we actually received $7,500 in donations, $4,000 from Home Depot and $3,500 from Baldby Community Fund. So we hope to continue that, but we also think there's some cost savings that will allow us to absorb what, I mean, you've been very gracious to us with the cuts that have been noted.
Well, that's what we've done. We're not sure what the delegation will do.
But it starts here.
Yeah.
I have a question about the social service department, the salaries, 104,800, is that two people?
That is two full-time people.
Two full-time people?
Okay, Kathy, you got all the changes? So for next week, you can put together the whole budget?
It has
Did-
to be.
What's that?
It has to be all done. I will have, just so you know, on next Wednesday, it will have to be sent out Wednesday afternoon to the state.
Okay.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, you need to, my comment in this morning's breakfast, the people that I sat with had an awful problem cutting up the pancakes. They were too dried out and too tough. The poor resident there was using a knife back and forth, they couldn't cut through it. He got a second helping, and that wasn't any better. But Becky Mason came over, and she found a couple of pancakes that were soft, and that he could cut. On the other hand, the other gentleman that was at my table, he had seconds and thirds on pancakes. He was hungry. So that's good.
Well, and so-
That's the comment.
Well, that's worth looking into. We solved the toast problem, now we'll solve the pancake problem.
The gentleman I was sitting with said he would like to write a letter and make some suggestions. So we'll see what they are.
Suggestions are always an opportunity. I mean, feedback is critical.
It looked like everything went smoothly. People got fed. You had plenty of help there. That helped volunteers.
It's staff that volunteer from other departments.
Yep.
So, but they all look forward to it, and they all enjoy it. It works out very nicely.
Yep.
Well, it certainly is nice.
Yep, it's good.
It's a refreshing change of pace for the residents too, and they certainly enjoy commissioners coming in too. That makes them feel special.
Let me ask you this, was Becky ever recognized at a breakfast?
Not
I just thought of it, and
No.
she sat at my table too, and we need to do that.
Was she at resident council meeting or not?
But I think in front of the residents,
No, that's well
we
taken.
should recognize her with whatever the wording was on her award. And that might be done through Lynette, since she was on that committee.
No, we can't, we can't miss any opportunities like that, and that's
Yeah, yeah.
that certainly would be a good one. We actually had another recognition planned for today, but the staff member couldn't come in.
Oh, okay.
She actually works part-time and took on another part-time job and was unable to. So we did have something scheduled, but did not quite come to pass.
Do we have anything else for the administrator of the nursing home?
No.
If not,
Thank you.
thank you very much. At this time, I would open up for public input. Seeing no public input, we'll close that part of the meeting. Lynette,
Are
Won't we
we-
recess it?
Are we
Mr.
going to
Chairman?
do the budget again at 1 o'clock?
no, we're all done.
We're not going to do the
Lynette,
budget?
did we look at your budget?
Yeah,
Okay.
you
When-
did, we
when-
did when we were
Okay.
When did we look at her budget?
in the
I mean,
meeting, in the
today.
meeting.
This morning.
Today, you just went through it and just said there were no changes, that percentage rate was very off, that was
Okay.
said before.
Okay,
but-
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
no.
right.
Yeah, well,
Are we all set with the budget now, as far as?
No, I just have something for the HR budget. If you look at June 12th, the commissioners went into the public meeting. I have the public minutes here.
Yep,
That is over the salary, when we hired a new HR director, Lynette.
yep.
And you negotiated the amount of $53,000. And in 6 months, she's going to get $55,000. We had Mr.
We-
Comeau filming that. And that is what we agreed, we talked about it, and that is what we offered her. And
Do we want to give an evaluation?
No, I just want to say there is suddenly a different contract is popping up on June 3rd. It's signed only by one commissioner, by Commissioner
That
Sorensen.
was the agreement that when we hired her, that's what she would be getting.
And that she is getting $58,000.
That's right,
And suddenly she said it is $60,000.
that's right.
after.
That's an increase after the first of the year. She gets an
We-
increase in
we-
December.
We
I
didn't
believe.
agree with that, and if you see it this on video and the public minutes,
Yep,
she started with $53,000, and then in 6 months it will go up to $55,000. That is the motion that we made in public.
yep.
The public minutes are there, and this is now, I don't know, there is no motion taken on a day, this is a Monday. I see only one commissioner signed, the 3 commissioners need to agree upon it. And you suddenly give her $58,000, and then you said, and we never talk about it, after 1 year she's getting $60,000. This is all new to me. It's the first time I see this.
Okay. I believe the board left it up to me to negotiate with the HR person when we hired her.
Did you see here in the minutes
I
what
saw
it is?
that.
It is $53,000, and then in 6 months it's $55,000. This document is fraud. You cannot go later and say, wait a minute, behind the board back, and said, I'm going to give you $58,000, and then later you get $60,000. This is not right. We make a motion here in public. It is on camera. This is what she get. She came here for the interview. We negotiated that amount, and she knows what she's getting.
Can I ask you
And
when that
we-
is effective? When this is effective?
We make the motion here, June 12, 2013, $53,000, and after 6 months, and I don't know why this county have it that everyone after 6 months get automatically a substantial increase. We shouldn't have it in. After 6 months, you get $55,000.
When is that due?
June 12, that is why we make that motion.
Yeah, when is the increase due?
In 6 months.
Which is when?
In 6 months is when you start. So if you start with $53,000, after 6 months you get $55,000.
Yep.
The fact is that
And that is for
now-
next year, right?
the fact
The
is
increase of
now
$2,000 is for next year.
the fact is now, don't twist it, that you
Uh-huh.
make a separate paper, and instead of the $55,000 you put in $58,000. And it's done on a Monday, and I know you're not coming here driving on a Monday. Usually your stamp is used, and this is signed
It's
here on a
probably
Monday.
dated on a Monday,
It's on a
and I
Monday
signed
done.
it on a Wednesday.
Well, you need to put it in here if you sign it any other day.
Okay.
And suddenly we give her $58,000, and we never agree upon this, that then after that she's going to get $60,000. That is what the board agree of, that is what we
Okay.
voted for, and that is what we have on record.
I'll make a motion that we put $2,000 extra dollars in for next year's budget.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
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 I
Those
opposed it.
opposed?
I opposed it.
Okay.
Somebody should look into that, this is a complete fraud. And why is she getting $2,000 extra? I mean, she's
Because
still
I
under,
think she's doing a great job.
but she's still under probation.
I think she's doing a great job, and in order for her to get the one in December, we need to do an evaluation. Okay?
We hope you'll be here, Commissioner.
Which one? When?
Whenever it is in
December,
December.
whenever we do it. And we can do it anytime.
What do
We
you
can do it
mean?
next week if you want to do
What
it.
do you mean? What are you talking about? Evaluation?
I'm talking about an evaluation, a performance, a
But
job
you said
performance.
something about this December, or was it next? What?
Can I see the
No,
contract?
Commissioner Babson make a comment. What comment did you make?
I just said, I hope you'll be here for that evaluation. Whenever it comes down to a tough situation, you seem to be missing.
That is inaccurate.
No, it's accurate.
Okay.
Well, give an example. What is a tough situation when I'm not here?
And for
Can-
any disciplinary action we've had in the last 6 months, have you been here?
You've missed two that I know of.
You've missed 3 that
Oh,
I
can you
know
tell me which two did I miss and what three did I
No,
miss?
because I'm not gonna bring up people's names.
No,
But I
I
can
mean-
tell
How
you,
did I miss three?
you weren't here, that's how you missed them.
The only thing what I missed was one employee, and she sent an email to the commissioners that she was not coming.
Okay.
So we using mileage money, you probably billed to come here for nothing. And the agreement was on a Wednesday, that is what we voted for. And suddenly when I came here and wait for the employee, they changed it to Friday. And the employee said she was not coming, so I didn't miss anything. Can you come up with your proof, and can you give me precisely the dates?
I'll go into non-public and I'll come up with
And if you have it, that would be
Come up
fine.
with a proof immediately.
Could you get a hold of Will, please? So we're all set on the budget. figure out what
We'll
that
make the
is.
changes. Anything else? Would you like me to put in 5,000 under new equipment for the safe? Or
I
whatever?
like to have a new safe, because you see, I get two times, I get old things here
Yeah.
that's supposed to be a safe, and they went a couple times in, and it is not,
Let's check out,
it is not
let's,
really safe.
let's check
We
out
need to
that,
have a good new safe.
I have
that
sent it.
locked cabinet that's between Commissioner Babson's and my desk.
And
And
who
see if-
has
and see if
the
that
keys, and how many
suffices.
keys are
And
there?
I've sent a request to get verification if it needs to be a safe or a fireproof locked cabinet, the options, because obviously fireproof locked cabinets, if they're available from the nursing home now that they're gonna need that, not going to need that many, maybe that would be a very frugal way of not putting
Yeah,
that
they're
expense.
fireproof.
Yeah, if it's a fireproof safe,
Yeah.
I mean, a fireproof file cabinet, locked file cabinet, if that would suffice versus having a safe, if it would be used as the same thing. I've sent out a request from an opinion.
Would you check that out? Go ahead, Commissioner
Yeah,
Babson.
so let's be practical. We go out and we buy a safe. We've got more paperwork around here, that we've got a whole second floor full of paperwork. What's gonna go in here? I mean, the obvious way to go is electronic filing, and where you minimize what you spend on safes and space. I just don't see that it makes any sense to be chasing around to buy a file cabinet, a safe.
I guess we need to protect the non-public minutes. Otherwise, the other minutes can go outside in your office,
Well, they're on the web.
and they're on the
And they're
web.
saved on our systems.
Are non-public minutes the only documents that have to be saved?
You have all the
Well-
I
contracts.
thought there were a lot more than that that had to be saved.
Well, the non-public minutes that are released are scanned, they're in our
They're in your
computer
office.
system, and they're on the web. The regular minutes are also scanned, they're on the web, and we have them in our computer. But we also have hard copies.
No, I mean, my question is, what else needs to go in this safe besides the non-public minutes? I mean, contracts with
Commissioner
people?
Kenney has,
Attorney-client privilege information, if we get paperwork
Settlements.
from the attorney,
And
also
I'll-
settlements.
And how far back do we have to go?
Some of those we have to keep for a long time.
I have the non-public minutes, what I have in my possession, that is going in. I don't know if they have other ones.
What is upstairs in the vault of records?
Everything.
There's personnel files, there's
So that
required
is fireproof.
yes, it has the Halon system.
Who
so
has
it's
access
fire-
to it?
Who has access to that area?
Yeah.
Our office,
Let's say,
HR, Jerry.
okay, let's say that room up there, we put a cabinet up there, a locked cabinet. It's in a fireproof room, we have a locked cabinet, only Asha has the key. What's wrong with that versus having another filing cabinet downstairs in our office? It's fireproof. The only people that can get in it, she's got the key.
The
It's
key
her.
for what?
Eh?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about, we have this vault that's fireproof.
And where is it?
It's on
Oh,
the
you're talking about its floor,
down the
okay.
end of the hall. If we had a filing cabinet, maybe the one that you've got now,
That is not good, and it's not safe.
because
We need to have a good safe. We need to have a good new safe, so we
It's
don't
not-
have any issues.
it's not enough space?
You mean in the vault room?
No, you're in your filing cabinet to keep
It's
the
not safe, but
non-public.
it's just a little cabinet. We need to have, like the RSA said, a safe, it required a safe, so we can put all our report documentation and everything else acted up on the board, all the actions taken, certain documents like this here. I can put these things in.
Do you think 5,000 is a good estimate?
The safe, what I looked in, you have different drawers, and each commissioner can have a section to put also things in. And it costs between $3,000 and $5,000. 3 was a little smaller. You want to go a little bigger.
Anything
so
over
one of
$5,000 is gonna go out to bid? Anything else?
I think he has a
Yeah,
question.
I know, but anything over 5,000 is gonna go out to bid, right?
Yes, we can put it out to bid,
Okay,
that's
Ed?
fine.
Doesn't the nursing home have fireproof safes that they're not going to be using because they're going to electronic
That was the
storage?
point
Why
that we
can't they
made
do-
earlier.
Thank
They're
you.
they're fireproof file cabinets, aren't they? They're not safes.
I don't know if they're classified as a safe.
They have a lock on it, that would be
They have a
safe.
lock on it, and the information that's kept in them are special documents, so, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with them. Why don't you check that out, Asha, to see
will
if
go through
the
that,
cabinets
sure.
that they have would fit the bill?
Yep.
Okay? All right. You got all the information you need?
For now, yeah.
All right.
It's here.
Do we have anything to bring up in a regular meeting?
They,
The minutes?
gotta do the minutes and the work. We got a couple of questions from the board here.
November 13th minutes.
Yep.
Anything else? Any corrections?
Yes.
Susan? Go ahead.
First page, last paragraph. It refers to what I said, and I don't believe that was exactly what I said or left the impression. The drivers are now on commission and are therefore incentivized to increase billings to the county. What I said was the drivers are on commission and therefore there's really no incentive for them to.
Yep.
The other way around makes it look like they're trying to.
So we need to put after therefore no? Is that right?
Well, and therefore not incentivized.
Therefore, no incentive to increase billings to the county?
No, the drivers are now on commission and therefore,
There is-
drivers are on commission and therefore there really isn't an incentive to decrease costs or decrease inventory.
Drivers are on commission and are
And therefore, there is no incentive to decrease inventories.
Okay.
Anybody got anything for page 2? Page 3, next to last paragraph. Michelle, I think it ought to read, Mr. Chandler said he would like to be able to run the cafe like an enterprise fund.
Enterprise fund, just add fun to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else got anything? Page 4. I'm not sure about, in the nursing home, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs down on page 4. The nursing home does not have a dedicated gas meter. It does have a dedicated gas meter. So it should be the nursing home has a dedicated gas meter.
So the next sentence should come out? I thought the point of that discussion was that they can't measure what they're exactly using, they just apportion it by the central office.
I think it depends on whether you're talking about dietary or you're talking about heating for the nursing home.
Well, I don't know exactly where the meter goes, whether it goes into the building and then splits off to the two places, or whether just the heat's a meter. But
I think,
the cost of propane is apportioned by the finance office.
Okay, Will, you got,
Commissioner Babson was right on the first one. It's metered before it goes in the building, then splits off, I believe, from what I understand.
splits off to the
To the heating and
dietary?
to the dietary, I think is
Okay.
after
So the gas meter reads the complete cost of propane in the nursing home,
As far as I'm aware, yes, sir.
okay?
So the next sentence comes
Yeah, we
out?
don't need it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other corrections?
I have no corrections. Seems accurate, I guess.
Any further corrections, Commissioner? No. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected of November 13th.
I'm looking for that motion about,
What are you looking for?
I'll second the motion for discussion. We didn't make a motion to disapprove of the recommendation to go to $300 a day. It was just by
Which
consensus.
page are you?
I think it's page 7.
I don't think there was.
By revenue?
I can check the tape. if there-
Mr.
I don't
Chairman,
think there was a
requested
motion.
Commissioners.
I don't think we made a motion either. I think it was by consensus that we would not increase the rate.
I think you and Commissioner Babson both said no way, so there was no point in the motion.
Okay?
But she didn't put a motion in.
There was-
No, there was no,
I don't think there was a motion.
there was no motion in there. Okay? Okay, go ahead.
On page 6, on the laundry discussion, contracted fees and services represent the company with whom they are currently negotiating. Mr. Chandler will be meeting with them to rein in increases. The contract is based on inventory and use, but is not clear enough. The contract needs to specify either a flat rate per week or a known price per pound, or the third choice was to leave it the way it is with a more accurate count of inventory. I don't know how you want to word that.
Contract needs to specify either a flat fee per week or a known price per
Those were
pound.
two things that Howard said to the company that would be
Yeah,
acceptable also, besides what we're doing.
so you want to add in there that,
Contract
Or-
can stay the way it is, provided there's more oversight. So that we don't have 6,000 and something face cloths.
yeah. Flat fee per week or a known price per pound. Or, should we,
Or leave the existing contract as is with better inventory control and more oversight?
Yes, that's
yeah,
fine.
okay. Can we, instead of retyping it, can we just make the written in changes?
Well, these are the public minutes. I always, you're gonna vote and I'm gonna issue, I'm gonna send this with the changes to
Okay.
Cheryl, so it doesn't get retyped, it just
Okay.
gets.
Any other corrections? Motion's been made and seconded. That we approve the minutes for November 13th. All those who support the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then so voted. Anything else to be brought up this morning?
There are several sets of non-public minutes,
We have sets of non-public
We
four, I
need to
think.
look at it.
for, you have them there?
I do, yes. Do you wanna do them in the public meeting or wait
No,
till
we
you?
want to do them in non-public, but when we go into non, is there anything
Yeah.
else open for public?
We haven't heard from the Cub Reporter yet.
The farm.
We had public input already, but you don't have any?
I had a couple of things, but if you.
Go ahead, please.
meeting of the trail committee
Yep.
to discuss, and two of the commissioners were there. Coming out of that meeting was to ask the Friends of Mountain View if they were willing to be fiscal agents for the project, since they already have their 501c3. So I did meet with them this morning over at the nursing home, and they've agreed to take that under advisement. So I would expect an answer from them probably next month, if that's doable. They just wanted to check into the IRS requirements on the nonprofit, so.
Okay.
So they were very amenable, and I gave them a bit of an update on the progress, and so they could see that the money that they've donated is being put to work, so they seem pretty pleased with that, so.
Now, that is a comment. That's a good comment. Thank you.
Wish you could count on me for that all the time, don't you?
Well, don't spoil it today.
No.
Okay. So I should learn how to rephrase my questions into comments? Okay, let's try this. Is it safe to assume that you have not hired a new jail captain? That's still a question.
You want to announce that?
Have you hired a new captain?
Sure, yeah, we,
Or the status of it?
yeah, we had made an offer to someone last week, and that person has approved the offer. Now they are under a conditional offer with the House of Corrections, and the person is Jason Henry, who is a sergeant at the Merrimack County of Corrections.
Okay, thank you. And one last thing on the matter of electronic records and file storage. We talked about it a little while back about possibly having a record retention policy for the county to figure out how you're going to handle all of these records. And has any money been added to the budget this year for implementing an electronic records filing system?
Only in a nursing home that I'm aware of.
Is your budget still under consideration to add things like that, or would it just need to wait for the delegation?
Frankly, David, I had forgotten all about it, and maybe we ought to consider a capital reserve fund to begin looking at it. Thank you, Melissa, I had forgotten all about it.
And I don't know based on what model or what program or any of that, but I think some research, maybe the nursing home could help, since they've already done a lot of research for their needs,
Right.
to help you
Right.
figure out what it might cost to do it over here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa?
Yeah.
Last night at the Cooperative Extension meeting, somebody had been down to the Wakefield, Carroll had been down to the Wakefield landfill and picked up some crushed glass. And it was not like the crushed glass that I saw the first time I ever saw it. It was chunky and very coarse. It looked like real gravel out of a gravel pit and not like sand, which I had seen. So we might have to do some more thinking on that.
So I don't know anything about landscaping or underlayment.
Well, we were
or-
talking about underlayment.
But could it be used
You're
as
gonna
a-
put down sand, but this stuff was so coarse that something else has to be done. I just letting you know, as the leader of the band, that it didn't appear to be what I had seen the first time or what's been shown on the pictures on the internet. It was very, very coarse.
Is there any problem with it being coarse as an underpinning?
And I have no expertise in the trail construction. I think it was decided that Will DeWitt and Wendy were kind of overseeing that portion of the trail, so. But it would seem if it's chunkier, it might be able to be used in place of gravel.
Gravel, yeah.
But
But with the chunkier and with the glass comes sharper edges too. It wasn't, the one sample I saw 2 or 3 years ago, it was like picking up a handful of sand at the beach.
But if
This
it could-
was far from it.
if it could be used for a part of the base for paving, it wouldn't matter if it was sharp, probably, I don't know.
Or put some stone dust down on top of it or something. You must be able to use it, but they want to get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? If not, we need to make a motion to go into non-public for personnel from the farm. And Lynette, do you know the exact
A should be.
RSA 91A3, paragraph 2A?
On Commissioner Babson's cheat sheet, the very first one, A is covering personnel, if that's what you're going in under, is personnel.
I think so.
Okay, so A is personnel.
Okay,
You making the motion, Mr. Chairman?
I'll make the motion, yeah.
Are you seconded, Commissioner Kenny?
Yep, second.
Roll
Roll
call.
call?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Babson.
So moved.